Coming up next on FS1, the Big East regular season championship is on the line for St. John's. Zuby Ejiofor and the Johnnies looking for back-to-back titles. Standing in their way, the scrappy Seton Hall Pirates looking for a... On a Friday night in Newark, a gigantic game in the Garden State. St. John's looking to win back-to-back Big East regular season titles for the first time in 40 years. Standing in their way, a scrappy Seton Hall Pirates team in desperate need of a signature win. Still hanging around the tournament bubble with time running out. Senior night at Seton Hall, a roster that was picked to finish dead last in the conference, but already with a first-round bye to next week's Big East tournament. Can they find some magic to keep their at-large hopes alive? A look at the Big East standings. UConn and Seton Hall enter the final weekend tied atop the conference. Seton Hall locked into the 4th seed. DePaul could yet get a first-round bye this weekend. A lot yet to be determined, but most importantly, a win for St. John's earns them a share of the Big East regular season title, going back-to-back for the first time in 40 years. It is as simple as that. As we welcome you courtside, Alex Faust and Nick Bye here with you. It's great to have this time of year a game with so many implications.
Every single college basketball team shares two common goals: make the NCAA tournament and win your conference championship. That's what's at stake for these two teams tonight, and given how hard they play and what's at stake, that's quite a combination. Get your popcorn ready. This is going to be fantastic.
All right, starting lineup sponsored by Jeep. There's only one. Seton Hall, a bit of a question mark coming in. Bud Clark was listed as questionable on the availability report, but he will play. He will start for Seton Hall. He started in every game this year, and Dylan Darling will make his 3rd consecutive start. What a difference maker he's been. Zuby Ejiofor, of course, All-American consideration, and the favorite for Big East Player of the Year.
It's been elusive all season finding that point guard for St. John's, and Darling has emerged with some consistency here down the stretch, but he's going to have his hands full going against Bud Clark.
James Breeding, Matt Potter, and Ed Corliss our officiating crew tonight in Newark. A terrific crowd on hand. For Seton Hall, their season pretty much hangs in the balance in terms of at-large candidacy. They're one of the next 4 out, according to our Mike DeCourcy as of today. Right off the hop, it's Ejiofor from deep. Rebound picked up by Mike Williams. Seton Hall's won 4 of 6 entering tonight. There's Clark. What a spark plug he is.
Boy, he loves that little mid-range jumper. And talk about a push off of a rebound. Bud Clark setting the tone right away.
Leading scorer for the Pirates. Led the Pirates with 16 in a win over Xavier on Tuesday. Osiah Sellers puts it on the deck. Feeds the wing. Shot fake. Darling. Back to Sellers. Top of the key. Off the mark from 3. And a rebound for Seton Hall.
And 1 shot and out in the first 2 possessions. Seton Hall trying to set the tone on the glass, which is going to be important both ways.
You know what's remarkable? By average height, this Seton Hall team is the smallest among any power conference, and yet they are top 10 in blocks and steals per game in the nation. Never mind what they do on the glass. They crash hard. 5 seconds to shoot here. And it's Clark, baseline, swings it back out. Elijah Fisher, step back, knocks it down.
That's how Seton Hall wants to play. They want to chew a lot of shot clock, slow this thing down when they do get in the half court. Just any sort of shot-making consistency has been hard to capture for the Hall.
Dead last in the Big East in points per game as a team. And a good start for Seton Hall. Ejiofor off the mark. Offensive rebound. Bryce Hopkins will kick it back out. Darling zips it inside. And there's Dylan Mitchell.
Offensive rebound. Good patience from Hopkins. He could have forced it back up in the paint. Instead, he sprays it out, and Darling finds Mitchell for an easy 2.
You know, it's interesting. Shaheen Holloway, when we were talking about what do you need to focus for St. John's, he didn't talk about Ejiofor. He talked about Mitchell and containing him.
Mitchell's emergence throughout the season has really changed St. John's. As he's played better, St. John's has played better.
There's Clark, tough shot, baseline. Ejiofor did enough to box out. Darling inside to Ejiofor, trying to turn the corner, draws context. Stephon Payne picks up the early foul.
Well, Alex, you talk about right away, trying to get yourself involved. You forget Bud Clark. It's a guy that averaged almost 20 points per game a year ago. He really can score, and this is just a terrific kick out and delivery from Dylan Darling downstairs to Dylan Mitchell.
Ejiofor at the stripe for 2. A triple-double against Villanova last Saturday, only the 5th for the program in the last 4 decades. Every time that he's been asked to put the team on his shoulders, he has.
It's ridiculous. Leads the team in points, rebounds, assists, blocks. His effort is at max at all times. Just unbelievable, the player that Zuby Ejiofor has become.
Full court pressure here from Seton Hall, from St. John's. This is something that Seton Hall does from time to time. And they're going to give this back to St. John's. I thought that should have, at least from initial blush, gone to Seton Hall.
But Matt Potter thought it ended up going off of Williams after he tried to save it, but that's not how you want to break the pressure, obviously.
Yeah. Bryce Hopkins starts his drive, cuts, pivots, and it's a jump ball.
So that could be another dead ball full court press situation. Pretty good defense from A.J. Seton McCray. That's a big body driving at you, keeping his chest in front, tying him up.
Seton Hall, one of the top defensive teams in the country.
These two teams are, in some ways, mirror images of each other and how they're built. They want to turn you over. They want to crash the offensive glass. And so those two elements are going to be very important, obviously, here tonight.
St. John's has gotten better defensively as the year has gone on. Fisher goes up strong, and he'll shoot 2. Shaheen Holloway has been seeking offensive consistency all year. What he's gotten from his team in a roster that was cobbled together over the offseason is defensive intensity from the get-go.
Yes, but this team's offensive struggles, in particular from beyond the arc, dramatic. You're talking about a group that they average 4.9 made threes per game. That ranks 360th in the country. So there are only 5 teams in the country that make fewer threes per game. Rider, Tarleton State, Texas State, Cal State Bakersfield, and Delaware State. Just to give you a sense of just how far down the ladder the Hall is in terms of three-point shooting, and that puts so much pressure, Alex, on other parts of your game, most importantly your defense.
We'll talk about it. They've had their opportunities against UConn, against this St. John's team earlier this year.
They get any shot making at all. This team is absolutely dynamite, but it's just been tough to capture. In that game at UConn, they were able to knock down some threes, which really kept them in the game, because you know that defense and the energy and all those things have been very consistent for Shaheen Holloway's group.
They led this St. John's team by 15 in the second half. They led UConn in late February by 8 in the second half. As Darling comes away with this, fans wanted to travel, shovel pass, and the finish for Hopkins.
What a hustle play from Dylan Darling. That is a great hustle, grab of a loose ball that ends in 2 points. Those are the plays that usually the Pirates come up with.
Clark tweaked his left quad last game, but looks none the worse for wear. A little bit of a wild take.
This is where he's so dangerous. He can rebound and run and do that.
Oh, what a pass to find Hopkins by Mitchell.
That's Dylan Mitchell. Zuby Ejiofor and Dylan Mitchell are the 2 leading assist guys on this St. John's roster. And Mitchell can rebound and take it himself, which just puts so much pressure on your transition defense. That was beautiful.
St. John's has been led by their front court all year in every aspect. Mike Williams picked up some of the scoring slack on Tuesday. Shot clock dwindling, launches a 3 off the mark. Rebound for Darling. Darling with an outlet for Ejiofor. The step through and the blow by to finish.
Shaheen Holloway said our transition defense better be on point. Well, the last 2 sequences, it has not been on point. And Zuby Ejiofor running and getting ahead of the pack. And Darling's already got 3 assists early.
10-1 run for St. John's. After Seton Hall had the first 2 buckets. A.J. Seton McCray is stripped. It's Ejiofor, and he's hit by Fisher. But Darling from the get-go, making his 3rd straight start and making another immediate impact.
Well, the Hall delivered the first punch, but boy, have the St. John's Red Storm settled in here in Newark. Darling setting the table for Bryce Hopkins. Dylan Mitchell can rake it and take it. And Bryce Hopkins, the beneficiary, and the big fella, Zuby, running the floor. Red Storm early.
Saturday, we've got a huge Big East regular season finale on Fox College Hoops.
We've got a good one for you.
Dan Hurley's 4th-ranked UConn squad.
Throwing it down with one hand.
Take on upset-minded Marquette.
Exclamation point.
Saturday at 12:30 Eastern on Fox College Hoops.
For this day.
Great drive fuels the leaders of tomorrow and today. Great vision paves the way for a brighter future. Great ambition goes places, moving onward and upward. Great empathy finds strength in kindness and in each other, working together to create something bigger than they ever imagined. Great minds can change the world, and great minds start at Seton Hall.
Zuby Ejiofor. He's getting to be known on a first-name basis in the Big Apple. A triple-double against Villanova last Saturday. His 3rd year with the program and on the path to Big East Player of the Year. By the Numbers, sponsored by Vivid Seats, home of the lowest price guarantee. Download the app today. You see St. John's record with Zuby Ejiofor. By the way, Nick, 35 wins over the last 2 years coming in conference play. That is the most in a 2-year span in Big East Conference history, in large part to this young man.
Yeah, he's a special player, and he's such a unique player because he can guard 1 through 5. He can post up. He can handle the ball. He can distribute. And he just plays hard. I'm not so sure that isn't his hallmark quality, and most notable element of his game is how hard he plays every single night.
If he wins Big East Player of the Year, it'll be the first time St. John's has had a winner in back-to-back years since the mid-'80s. As last year, it's R.J. Lewis. 11-5 after the early baskets for Seton Hall. They've gone cold. No field goals the last 3.5+ minutes.
A little bit of a zone from St. John's. A little bit of a wrinkle from Coach Pitino here early on. Not a very good shooting team, as we've said, so zone's not a bad idea.
McCray probing. There's the follow from Najai Hines. He was another question mark for Seton Hall, but playing above the rim for the flush.
I'd say that ankle looked pretty good on that possession. Special young big guy in Hines, and Seton Hall's got 2 bigs they can throw at Zuby Ejiofor and Payne and Hines.
Hopkins guarded by Josh Rivera. Darling kicks to the wing. Darling gets a return pass and drains a 3.
What a start for Dylan Darling. 3 assists. He had a hustle play running down a loose ball at half court. Now he knocks down a 3. Beautiful start to this game for Mr. Darling.
Transferred in from Idaho State to take a featured role over the second half of this season here in the Big Apple. Off the mark from State McCray. And let's see if this stays at Seton Hall.
You see Najai Hines, when he comes into the game, he makes his presence felt immediately. Zuby Ejiofor comes to block the shot, comes off Hines, and Hines rocks the rim. And Dylan Darling was a big-time scorer at Idaho State. He's had to adjust his game a little bit, but never short on confidence, that's for sure.
3 from T.J. Simpkins, and he's hit. And a mistake from the Johnnies and Ian Jackson.
You just got to have better control than to just barrel into Simpkins as he's lining up a little pin down triple off the base and out of bounds. And just so important, whether it's Simpkins or Seton McCray or Mike Williams, you need one of those guys to make some shots from beyond the arc.
As a team, they shoot just 31% from three. Second out of 3 free throws good for Simpkins. He's come off the bench most of the year.
Yeah, and it's one of those things with their three-point shooting. They don't take a lot of them either. So at least they understand that's not their strength, and so they don't just jack up triples, even though teams are constantly daring them to do so. They're 362nd in the country in three-point attempts per game.
They've had some wild swings in their percentage. They were 50% against UConn last week. But they also went 0 for 18 against Georgetown the game prior.
Tough matchup here with Williams on Dylan Mitchell, giving up a lot of size.
Jackson was behind the back with the dribble, and then he stripped of the ball, gets it back. 2 on the shot clock. Ejiofor cleans up the mess.
Boy, some of those loose balls have gone the St. John's direction. Like great defense and a potential turnover where you could get out and run, but instead it's 2 points. Those are the plays that the Hall have to come up with.
Ejiofor with 7 of the St. John's 16. They've made their last 6 from the field. Trey Parker, sophomore. Parker trying to create some space against Mitchell. Fade away short. And Josan Sannon pulls down the board.
Love to see Sannon make a play like that out the gates. He shot the ball great against Georgetown. 15 points. He had a big second half. Comes in, gets a board.
Zipped inside to Ejiofor, and that looked like a travel, and it was.
And you see it was great defense. Trey Parker sliding his feet in the gaps. You get the potential turnover, but instead it ends up in Zuby Ejiofor's hands, and he knocks down a bucket.
One thing that a little bit of a wrinkle for Seton Hall right now. Mike Williams with 2 early fouls is sitting. Actually, no, he's just come back into the game, Williams. And that'll be 2 free throws for Simpkins. Is that the second on Jackson?
I think it is, on fouling a jump shot twice now on Simpkins both times. Take a look at Jackson. Just hits the hand, and so that's 2 personal fouls on Ian Jackson. Just mental mistakes.
Well, they've been imploring him to be cleaner on the defensive end. Free throws in the early going for both teams have come to premium. 3 misses already for Seton Hall from the foul line.
And you and I were talking just about the interesting dynamic of Seton Hall wanting to maybe throw some full court pressure and try to speed the game up a little bit, or at least speed St. John's up. But you don't want to get into a scoring contest because that's not how you're built. But when you get in the half court, your lack of shooting becomes problematic. So you have to really pick and choose their times, when to attack and when to pressure in the full court.
Tell you what, though, this is one of those lulls in the game that Seton Hall kind of brings you to sleep a little bit, and they're still within touching distance. Despite all the shooting numbers being well in St. John's favor. Shot clock dwindling. Darling, tough shot, way off. Shot clock violation on St. John's. And this is an example of how Seton Hall has hung around in so many of their games this year, as they're doing in the early going, in a massive matchup against the Johnnies.
Britain versus USA, only on Fox.
Big East basketball is sponsored by Jeep. There's only one. Alex Faust, Nick Baugh here with you. Regular season title on the line for St. John's. Seton Hall trying to keep their at-large hopes alive. Let's head inside the huddle with Shaheen Holloway.
I don't know what y'all doing on offense. I have no idea what we're doing. Everything is a jump shot. Nobody drops to the basket. There's no aggressiveness. Everything is passive.
I'd say that's pretty straightforward and direct, and I would agree. It's been a lot of jump shots and a lot of contested jump shots. You see the points in the paint differential, and that's indicative of where the Hall have settled with their offense. They have to be a team that is trying to attack the basket and get into the paint. We'll see if the Hall can find a way to get inside of this Red Storm defense.
This is a matchup of two of the top 3 offensive rebounding teams in the Big East. Seton Hall plenty capable of attacking the rim. Bud Clark. Simpkins, who lost the handle. Appealing for a foul, none given. Third turnover for Seton Hall.
I just love how Dylan Darling has started this game. He's made life easy for everybody else on the floor. You can just feel that his comfort is rising each game that passes now. Doesn't mean he's always going to play the cleanest game, but he really has a sense of what he needs to do.
It's like sipping on an espresso, the type of game that he has.
Absolutely.
As opposed to your drip coffee. Sellers rises in and out. Williams the rebound.
We got to explore early, see what you can get.
Hines reels it in. Tough catch as he tries to bounce it to the back door. And this will stay with the Hall.
Hines has to catch, gather, and go up. I'm not saying you necessarily have to force it, but you get behind the defense like that, you got the size and strength on Ruben Prey. The catch drifted him out. That's a tough pass in traffic.
Inbound to Williams here, and he'll set things up. Seton McCray. Seton McCray, that's an aggressive move to the rim. Ask and you shall receive.
And there's got to be some St. John's helpers in those gaps, though, but you love the penetration.
McCray with a pretty drop step against Hines.
He's just behind an elite front court. Ruben Prey has game, and he comes in and makes an impact. He's just behind the likely guy that's going to be the player of the year, and Bryce Hopkins and Dylan Mitchell.
Zuby Ejiofor had to bide his time a little bit as a big man. That's a terrific finish for Seton McCray.
I always love when a shooter gets a couple of twos to go down. Now when those threes come, you're in a little bit better rhythm.
Seton McCray has scored in double figures 6 of his last 7. A quick 4 for him. And the lead down to 4. Hopkins from 3. Off the mark. Williams able to get a piece of the board, and Hines to clear. This is exactly where Seton Hall has been a pest all year to play against, as Bud Clark goes in and draws a foul.
I think they were listening in that huddle. And a little bit more aggressiveness trying to get into the paint, and A.J. Seton McCray just would not be denied. Going through the body, getting the tough lefty to layup to go down, and this is just unbelievably challenging. A little scoop shot from A.J. Seton McCray.
6th-year senior. One of the seniors honored today as Hines checks out. And Stephon Payne picked up an early foul, check back in. A Seton Hall team that started the year 14-2. Their best start to a season in 8 years. They began Big East play 4-1, but then fell off the map a bit. A 4-game losing streak in January. Trying to rescue their season with time dwindling down.
Big opportunity tonight, obviously, with the Johnnies in your building. So there's a ton at stake for Seton Hall.
Dosan Seton from 3. Front rim. Rebound for Payne. Clark looking to push. And he'll woe up.
I don't mind that push, though. You push, you probe, you explore. Nothing there, then you can pull it out.
And then Clark explodes to the rim, meets resistance from Sellers.
Just great rim protection. Everybody vertical, didn't slap down and bail out Clark with a foul.
Hopkins knocks down his man, and they're going to call a blocking foul out of all this. A late call. And that draws the ire of the faithful in Newark.
Let's take another look at it. Oh, yeah, that's a tough one because Hopkins certainly lowered his shoulder. Was a late whistle as well.
Now, they've really put an emphasis on letting the offensive player have the advantage in those types of situations the last couple of years. Very few of those bang-bang block charge calls anymore.
Yeah, at one point there probably were too many charges called in college basketball, and now the pendulum has maybe swung a little too far the other direction. That's how Hopkins plays. He is going to put his shoulder into you, seek out contact. Just couldn't get the call.
He's averaging 16 per game his last 5. Clark to bring it up. And Darling has the foot speed to stay with him.
Darling really defended Bud Clark well in the first matchup in Madison Square Garden.
State McCray, that was blocked. Ejiofor picking up one in the early going. And they'll outlet to him. Ejiofor ahead of the pack.
Such a good early rim running big. He can high point passes. He's got great hands. He's comfortable in a crowd. And there is supreme trust. Yeah, it's an over and back.
And you're seeing examples of Zuby Ejiofor's multifaceted game. St. John's up by 5.
Certainly a two-way player. Blocks the three-pointer and then runs out. He is unbelievably athletic. High points it through contact, through traffic. 2 for Zuby.
The Edge.
You know the crowd.
A champion will be crowned.
The Big East Tournament, March 12th through the 14th on Fox and FS1.
Rick Pitino in his 3rd season with St. John's, looking to win them back-to-back regular season titles. Let's go inside the Red Storm huddle.
Defense leads to fast breaks. They're great half-court defensive team. When you get them in the open court, they're not as good. Take your shots when you're open and get to the corner.
Great succinct message from Rick Pitino, incentivizing his group to play good defense and to get out and run. And transition is the most likely place you're probably going to have some success against Seton Hall, because when they do get in the half court, this is one of the 15 best defenses in the country. And so the more St. John's can run, which they've done at times, there's 6-0 fast break points right now, but it all starts with your defense.
Well, they have locked down in the early going. 38% from the field for Seton Hall. Lead is 5. Ejiofor, that met resistance. It rolls off the rim for Mitchell, tapped up and secured by Payne.
A little bit of zone, or what pass?
Yeah, threading the needle to Rivera. Nice find from Parker.
You know, Rivera has given pretty good minutes in spurts. He's a really good athlete, and in a game where athleticism is non-negotiable, Rivera is a pretty good option.
Fordham transfer Josh Rivera, one of the seniors on this roster, just down the road in New Brunswick. Hopkins hops into the paint, gets his own miss, kicks to Darling. No! Rebound out of the hands of Williams, and then he picks it up off the floor.
And Zuby Ejiofor doesn't lose too many of those 50-50 rebounds. Back-to-back possessions of 2-3 zone from Seton Hall. Shaheen Holloway doesn't play a ton of it, but he's shown a little bit more of it. Played a decent amount of it at UConn a couple of weeks ago.
St. John's just 1 of 8 from 3, helping their cause. Williams goes up, surrounded by Ejiofor and by Hopkins. Somehow gets it back, and then Ejiofor with a block, leaving 4 seconds on the shot clock. Well, they're going to call a foul here. I didn't hear the whistle. It looks like they're going to call a foul on Ejiofor.
Well, both teams are terrific in the half court defensively, so transition important both ways, as just that ball pinballing everywhere and somehow ended up in Mike Williams' hands, and he's able to draw a foul and get to the line. Yeah. Shaheen Holloway, I thought it was interesting in our conversation with him. he went out of his way to say, I feel really good about where Mike Williams' game is at right now. And I think that says a lot for a guy that he's reluctant to necessarily heap a bunch of praise. He's usually a guy that is going to always find, oh, you can do this better, you can do that better. And he just plainly put, I really like what Mike Williams is doing for us at this point.
Perfect at the foul line. Has 5 rebounds in the early going and takes a seat. Back to that zone.
Obviously rebounding the biggest issue when you're dealing with a zone, and so finding Mr. Ejiofor is going to be a big priority.
Hopkins nowhere to go with it. Mitchell kept to the perimeter. Feeds Hopkins in the low post. Tried to bully his way to the rim, and Payne stayed with him.
Payne and Hines are disruptive at the rim. It's a great pass from Mitchell.
Payne, one of the top rim protectors in the league. Here's Seton McRae. Back iron. Rebound. Jacob Dar. And what's the call? Timeout. Seton Hall able to save the possession along the baseline with no room to spare.
Well, Dar turned and called timeout, but then he loses the ball.
Wow. In midair.
That's a tough one, because he absolutely got the timeout verbalized, but was losing it as he was barking for it. But the Pirates get the call.
He put up one of his best. Seton Hall hanging right with St. John's, a 1-point game.
You figured points would be tough to come by, and they have been in this one. With the way both these teams are built and what's at stake, huge for the NCAA tournament resume for the Hall. St. John's can clinch a share of a Big East championship tonight. Love it.
Seton McRae walled up by Hopkins. Simpkins, what a move, what a finish! And Seton Hall has the lead. Ball nearly deflected away by Williams. St. John's wants a quick one. Joe Sonsana, no, there's the follow from Mitchell.
My goodness. Just an elite level athlete is Dylan Mitchell.
His scoring has been down a bit since the start of February, but in every other category, he has been an impact player.
Good Ejiofor switching onto a guard. He's already got a steal on a guard earlier in the game.
Seton McRae bumped by Ejiofor. That's the second for Zuby.
How tough was this finish? There's been a couple of finishes that have been ridiculously challenging for Seton Hall. And then watch Dylan Mitchell flying into your living room. Arguably the best athlete on the floor.
Ejiofor sitting with those 2 fouls.
It's a big opportunity now for the final 4:55. If Ejiofor is going to sit, Seton Hall's got to take advantage of this.
Simpkins probing against Ruben Prey. Trying to turn the corner. Hines, right place, right time.
But it starts with penetration. I know Simpkins didn't make it, but he was able to attract the help, which opens up the offensive glass.
Seton Hall now with 11 points from their bench. Everybody's going to have to chip in here tonight. Hopkins is fouled by Trey Parker. Ejiofor still having a word on the St. John's bench after he picked up his second foul.
Well, something else to keep in mind in terms of 2 fouls is Ian Jackson has 2 personal fouls, and he's one of the best shooters on this St. John's roster that's dealing with a lot of 2-3 zone. It'll be interesting to see if Coach Pitino wants to maybe trust Jackson and throw him out there to bust up this zone, or if he's going to sit for the rest of the half with 2 fouls.
And how much does this now put on the shoulders of Bryce Hopkins, who, of course, was leaned on so much in his career at Providence? But he's been clutch for St. John's. We're tied at 24.
Hardest part is getting the ball in. Usually St. John's will kind of fall back once you get it in, but they make it hard to just enter the press break.
Parker running baseline. Hopkins is there for the block. And this will go out of bounds.
Well, Hines did a good job sealing Prey up the floor, which opened up the baseline drive, and Parker saw it, but just couldn't get it to the rim as the shot blocking converged.
Simpkins, quick trigger, no. As Prey is unable to come up with it. Mitchell, right place, right time. And now Hopkins, spin move, kick to the corner. Sellers is swatted. And there's Najai Hines, the freshman, who's picked up a whole bunch of blocks the last couple games. So much at stake between these two teams, and we've been treated to a good one. Tied at 24 apiece here in Newark. Last year was a first Big East tournament title in a quarter century for St. John's. Can they go back to back? Next week we'll find out. The Big East tournament returning to the world's most famous arena, Madison Square Garden. Our coverage starts Wednesday, March 11th. Fox, FS1, and Peacock will have you covered from the get-go. Let's take a look at the Big East standings and a reminder of what's at stake. A win for St. John's. Even if UConn wins tomorrow, the tiebreaker for the #1 seed would go to St. John's. Seton Hall is locked into that 4th seed. They'll play either DePaul or Creighton. But of course, for Seton Hall, they're thinking big picture here and what's at stake for their NCAA tournament hopes. They've been kind of in this gray area, next 4 out for the last little while. They have needed a signature win like the one that could be in front of them today.
Exactly. And when you're on the bubble, there's a reason you're on the bubble. And you got to give the committee a convincing reason to put you in the field. And few things can do that, quite like a resume boosting quad 1 win like beating St. John's would be. So this is a huge opportunity for Seton Hall.
I'm looking just last week. Ohio State was on the outside looking in. They may have put themselves in the tournament with that big win over Purdue. All it takes is one. There's another block from Hines. Numbers for Seton Hall. And what a track back defensively from Mitchell.
Sheesh. You talk about hang time. First of all, the run out, but watch Mitchell just hang and swat. Unbelievable. He makes about 3 or 4 jaw-droppingly athletic plays a game. What a perfect fit for Rick Pitino.
And in all of that, to not foul.
Yes. Alex, this feels like a really important 3.5 minutes both ways. Zuby Ejiofor, the odds-on favorite to be the Big East Player of the Year, is on the bench with 2 personal fouls. Can Seton Hall take advantage? Can St. John's hang on?
Star to get it in. And that's deflected. Up for grabs. Jump ball. Possession arrow to St. John's.
Just great recognition on that weak side from Bryce Hopkins. It starts with Ruben Prey fighting for post position and fronting Najai Hines, and the trust that the backside help will be there. So Prey, he's battling. Hopkins, right place. Jump ball. Going towards the Red Storm.
St. John's has forced 5 turnovers.
St. John's got to be careful. Some of these could be moving screens on this possession.
Prey nearly traveled. Unable to get the roll. It looked like it was off of Hopkins. And we'll go back to Seton Hall. And again, they set up with some full court pressure.
Bud Clark's just got to want this basketball. Good hard cut. One way. Come get it.
Rivera comes to the ball. E.J. Simpkins. One of the very few three-point threats for Seton Hall. We have a foul away from the ball.
One of my favorite looks that Shaheen Holloway runs. Little handoff into a back pick lob action with a pin in on the weak side. I just love that look. I think it's a great way to get them moving. And St. John's gets caught holding State McRae coming off that back pick.
And it puts Seton Hall in the bonus for the remainder of the half. 1-1 here for State McRae. Last season at Miami, he had a huge game against Connecticut, one that Seton Hall nearly pulled off. A team high 20 points, 15 of those in the second half. He had a huge and one in the final minutes of that game. He's the type of guy, I'm thinking ahead here to the second half, Nick, of one of those guys you probably want the ball in his hands late.
Absolutely. I think he is the X factor for Seton Hall, because you need some perimeter shooting. He really played well in Maui when Seton Hall had a good showing out there. I think that kind of settled him in and got his confidence where it needed to be.
A couple of foul shots. Now the Pirates have the lead. St. John's has struggled to figure out this Seton Hall defense, especially with Ejiofor on the bench.
Good help from Rivera.
And forces a tough shot from Hopkins.
Just a great play from Josh Rivera.
Clark tried to feed the low post, and Hines is deflected away. Two and a half to go in this first half. Coming up at the Jeep halftime report. I'll send you to Rob Stone, Casey Jacobson in Los Angeles. We'll look ahead to the final weekend of the regular season across college basketball. Still a lot to be decided in the Big East, including potential first-round bye. This will go the other way. Clark tried to turn the corner and extended the elbow.
Very similar to the bang-bang play that was called a block a couple of minutes ago, as Clark lowers that shoulder. Darling times it up. And reminder, you can be in that restricted area when you're the primary defender. The restricted area only applies to the help side.
I'm just gonna. I don't know how I can talk over that.
Is that you? Who's saying that?
That's what it's like playing a game here in Newark. They are,
especially on a Friday night with what's at stake. Emotions are high.
Ruben Gray lets it fly from deep.
Yeah, he shoots a pretty good percentage. Doesn't take a lot of them. He's now 10 of 18 from 3 on the year.
He'll take that.
Some big moments filling in for Zuby Ejiofor, who's in foul trouble. Ruben Prey.
A lot of contact underneath as he goes to work against the fellow big man in Hines.
Great pass.
Wide open. Williams. No.
Those are the shots that gotta go down for the Hall.
Seton Hall is still yet to hit a three-pointer here tonight. 0 for 5. 1 point lead for St. John's. Mitchell led the Johnnies with 17 the first meeting. He coughs it up. Ruben Prey, right place, right time. Hopkins goes up strong and he's fouled. Bryce Hopkins looking for the highlight reel dunk. Strong take. He paid the price and he'll shoot 2.
But shout out to Ruben Prey. Loose ball, 50-50 ball. Prey comes up with it, and that's a hard foul and a dangerous one. Is a tough fall for Bryce Hopkins, but how about Ruben Prey? Nice first half. 8 minutes, 5 points. He's been physical.
Not credited with a rebound yet, but he's impacted a couple of those sequences that have led to St. John's pulling down a rebound.
He's wrestled into Jai Hines hard on the other end because that guy is in foul trouble. But like we said earlier, this is a talented guy in Ruben Prey that just is behind the best front court in the Big East.
Hopkins splits a pair, and it remains a 2-point game.
There's that back pick action again.
Since Ejiofor left the game, again, that's around the 4-minute mark. St. John's outscoring Seton Hall 5-4. Hines doubled, has to get out of it. Late pass, Rivera, blocking foul called. We've had a couple of those bang plays. Darling gets bowled over, but he's tagged with the foul.
Another great double team. So hard. I mean, a lot of these look pretty much the same. Maybe wasn't as much of a lowering of the shoulder, I suppose, but you've said 3 of those plays, and 2 of them have been blocks, 1 has been a charge.
Josh Rivera only a 54% free throw shooter this season. Seton Hall without a point the last 2 minutes and 13 seconds of game time as Rivera hits the front end. The Seton Hall team picked to finish last in the preseason poll. 20 wins for the second time under Shaheen Holloway. And for the 8th time in the last 11 years as a program. That is tied for the second most of the conference over that span. 1 of 2 for Rivera. 1-point lead for St. John. Prey looking for someone to go with it. Backs it out. About a 10-second differential here. Prey had a strong first half. Spin move. Got it. Soft touch of the rim for Ruben Prey. And he's up to 7.
What valuable minutes from Ruben Prey down the stretch here with Ejiofor having to sit.
Shot clock turned off. Clark calling out a play. Calls his own number. And it swirls out to end the half. Seton Hall finishes 1 for their last 7 from the field to end the half. But they've been one of the top comeback teams in the Big East and in the country this season. It's shaping up for a great second half. 30-27 at the break in Newark. You're watching Big East basketball on FS1. We'll be right back.
Different animal than anywhere else. It is a complete sellout. This is Big East basketball at its best. We are in the mecca of basketball, in the greatest city in the world.
None.
Dylan Mitchell playing above the rim. Been a physical game and a 3-point lead for St. John's. We'll send you to the Jeep halftime report with Rob Stone in Los Angeles right after this.
In this game, no one's path to greatness is the same. Each season rewrites the story. Another chance to rise and redefine what's possible. This is where rubber meets the road, where every team hits the court at full charge. Because the drive to the top isn't given, it's earned.
This is why we love college basketball.
The journey to the Big East title begins now. Sponsored by Jeep, proud partner of the Big East Conference. Jeep, there's only one.
It's a good thing to discover Jeep. There is only one as we bring you inside our College Hoops studio. Rob Stone and Casey Jacobson here with you. Get you back out for the second half between St. John's and Seton Hall momentarily. But first, let's look ahead to tomorrow, Casey. UConn up 2 spots to number 4 in the AP poll. They are at Marquette at 12:30 Eastern. Then 5:30. It's a double bubble game. Indiana and Ohio State in Columbus. You can catch all the action on Fox. UConn sitting on the 1 line, according to our bracket expert, Mike DeCourcy. They are also the 1 seed for now, at least, for next week's Big East tournament. Is UConn where you thought they would be in the preseason compared to where they are now?
Yes, I understand the question. It has a connotation of like, yes, but are they a disappointment, right? And they are victims of their own success, Rob. They won back-to-back national titles just a couple of years ago, right? It's not like we have to go back a decade or more. And both of those title teams ranked top 5 in the country in offense. They were methodical. They could blow you out. This version of UConn, they ranked 20th in the country in offense. So still good, but they don't have that extra gear that those title teams have to blow teams out by 20 and 30 points. Solo Ball has really been up and down with his 3-point shot. If he gets it going, and Alex Caravan, Silas Demery at the point, look, this team has the pieces. They really just, they lack the gear that the national championship team had.
You know what? Maybe you need to give them that gear and remind them that you think St. John's is the team to beat at the Big East tournament next week.
I can do that.
Pivot from there to the Big Ten. Wednesday night, Indiana, they earned their 8th.
physical first half played above the rim for both teams. We take a look at our first half stats sponsored by Jeep. There's only one. Seton Hall held without a field goal the final 4 minutes and 46 seconds of the half, and that is significant because that is about the length of time that Zuby Ejiofor was not on the floor. First meeting between these two teams, Ejiofor was also in foul trouble. Alex Faust, Nick Baugh here with you. He was held to single digits that day. Everybody else had to pick up the slack, and today that somebody is Ruben Prey.
Stick. St. John's outscored Seton Hall 7-5 once Ejiofor went to the bench with those 2 fouls, and Prey had 5 of those 7 points. This is a talented guy. You talk to Rick Pitino. He says, I wish we could play Ruben Prey more. He really believes in him, and in a big spot, in a big moment, Ruben Prey really delivered. He is very versatile. I thought he fought hard on the defensive end of the floor, knocked down a big 3. That guy right there was the MVP of the Johnnies in the first half.
And is that a performance that could lead St. John's to the finish line in the Big East regular season title? Ejiofor with 9 points in that first half in just 11 minutes, sitting the last 4:55 with those 2 fouls.
Well, you'd imagine that the foul trouble's top of mind for both coaches right now with Zuby Ejiofor. If you're Seton Hall, you have to attack Ejiofor, see if you can't get that 3rd. And then if you're if you're St. John's, you got to get Zuby Ejiofor back established in this game offensively and get him some touches.
It's Bud Clark. Just 1 for 5 from the field. This ball's deflected into the backcourt by Dylan Mitchell. Just 5 to shoot here for Clark. Clark calls his own number, leaves it short, and we barely saw Elijah Fisher in the first half with his 2 fouls. Picks up an early offensive rebound, gets a return pass from Seton McCray, and is on the board.
Well, it's the Hall that's winning the rebounding column right now. They're +5 on the glass, and that's their 12th second chance point now. So an area that typically the Red Storm dominate, it's a role reversal.
Ejiofor off the drive. Can't contain him when he's downhill like that.
Now, what did we think would happen in that first possession? You got to reestablish a guy that's been in foul trouble. Don't make him hunt for a shot. Call something for him so he can go make it happen.
Seton McCray, entry pass. Ejiofor got knocked off his feet. And Payne is at the rim.
Shaheen Holloway wanted a touch foul on Zuby Ejiofor.
Darling blocked from behind. Numbers for Seton Hall if they want to push. Seton McCray ran into his own man. And Elijah Fisher not on the same page. Hopkins to Ejiofor, the step through and the lay-in.
Some big dudes running hard there, and Hopkins and Ejiofor. What a step through, and great body control from Ejiofor. 4 points early for Zuby.
He's been running the floor all night. Fisher for Seton McCray. And the shot clock again dwindles inside its head. Clark and Darling have been going toe-to-toe all night. Ejiofor able to get a piece of Payne cleanly, and the ball is out of bounds.
Throw over the top, and Payne is able to finish. Zuby Ejiofor has to just let him go, and just unbelievably athletic. Those are your 2 big boys running the floor. Ejiofor is light on his feet.
Deflected away by Clark, secured by Mitchell. Sellers picked up his dribble in a tough area. Mitchell, skip pass, and a 3 from Seton.
Well, the only way that shot can go up is if Mitchell's got some mustard on that skip pass, and that thing was a laser. Great cross-court skip.
And Seton, who seems to be coming into his own the last couple of games. Seton McCray short from 3. Going to be a loose ball foul here against Payne. Nope. Correct myself here. I'm going to check the call. Ejiofor, I think, is going to get called for it. Yeah, that's his 3rd.
Big one. Well, the comp that Rick Pitino gave us on Seton was Russ Smith. Said that their games are similar and tried to show him some clips and bring him up to motivate him. That's a big moment there as Zuby Ejiofor, 3 personal fouls. That was a close one as both guys were wrestling pretty hard for post position.
I gotta say, live, it looked like pain, but Ejiofor will have to sit with 3. Clark, tough take, and he gets the roll.
And that was strong from the smallest guy on the floor, Bud Clark.
5'10" on a good day. Seton, 15 points against Georgetown, 1 away from a season high. He splashes in another deep one. The quiet assassin, very soft-spoken, but he lights up a couple of triples early in the second half.
It's amazing what confidence can do for you. Just thinking about the right things, playing the right way, and all of a sudden those shots are coming with better rhythm for Seton.
And there is Fisher.
Got to continue to attack the paint without Ejiofor on the floor if you're Seton Hall.
There's Seton again. Thought about another one. Instead finds Prey, who had that terrific first half. When St. John's needed him most, Ejiofor on the bench, and 2 more free throws for Ruben Prey. A 5-point lead for the Red Storm.
What are you made of?
What if the answer isn't just about defining who you are,
but about elevating what you can become
and pushing beyond boundaries?
Rising above and transforming yourself.
Now is the time.
Your time to elevate yourself, because you are meant to rise.
St. John's University.
Education that elevates.
Electricity in the air. This is a Big East tournament, folks. A champion will be crowned.
You know the crowd is ready. The Big East Tournament, March 12th through the 14th on Fox and FS1.
Big East basketball is sponsored by Jeep. There's only one. Alex Faust, Nick Baugh here with you. Rick Pitino, in showing film to his team prior to today's game, didn't use stuff from this year. He went back to a national championship winning team he coached in 2013 at Louisville. You mentioned Russ Smith, who was part of that team. He was talking about how this group probably wasn't as talented individually as this St. John's team is today. But what they did, he told us, Nick, was all the communicating that they did, all the work they did away from the ball. And he feels this St. John's team could be just as good, if not better. But it takes some stuff away from just the regular basketball X's and O's. They need to be a little bit more connected as a team.
It's amazing when you've got a guy like Rick Pitino, who's a Hall of Famer, and he's got this Rolodex of different teams and different players that he can use to make a point. And it's powerful when you can cite a national championship winning team and say, listen, I coach this team. You have some of the same talent, in fact, more talent, but what's missing is within your control to buy in. And so whether it's an example with a team or an individual like Russ Smith to Seton, it's powerful stuff when you can do that with your group. That's why you're a Hall of Famer. That's why you coach for as long as he has. And you accumulate that level of knowledge that you can draw upon.
First coach in college basketball history to lead 3 different programs to a Final Four. 15 conference tournament titles. Will it be another? A bounce pass underneath from Williams. And he wants to take a look, thinking that St. John's may have deflected this. Does Shaheen Holloway challenge?
This ball's got to be up. It's got to be a lob up to Najai Hines. Instead, try to wrap around and definitely hit Prey. Right call.
They made the right call without having to use a challenge. State McCray. Tough look with the left. Prey is there again to secure the board.
Yeah, kept Najai Hines on his back and then pursued the basketball.
It's shaping up to be his best game in a St. John's uniform, Ruben Prey.
And it's been needed.
It's a three from Sellers. Largest lead of the night for St. John's.
St. John's started 1 for 10 from 3. They're 4 for their last 4 from beyond the arc. So the three-point line proving to be the separator, which you knew was going to be an issue for Seton Hall.
Clark, pull up, got it. Much needed basket for Seton Hall.
Such a good mid-range pull-up jump shot. That's his favorite look.
Sellers with that three, now over 1,000 points in his career. He's chased behind the line. Darling wants a reset. Darling off the drive. That wasn't intended for Prey, and Sandin perhaps thrown off by that change in direction.
I don't think there's any doubt that he was thrown off.
Now it's Clark. Want to talk about a size disadvantage? That's about a full foot against Ruben Prey. And he'll shoot free throws. Actually, they're going to call this on the floor.
Well, another great skip pass. Great zip right in the shooting pocket. Sellers knocks it down. And he may be small, but he loves the little fall away 15-footer, Bud Clark. Ian Jackson back into the game. He had 2 personal fouls, only played 90 seconds in that first half. See if he can get into a flow.
Entry pass, tough catch for Hines. Goes up strong and one. The freshman Najai Hines with a strong take. And he'll try to make it a three-point play.
A switch rolled into the post, and even though that help side was there, Hines is just bigger than Darling and Jackson, able to catch, turn, and finish. Good recognition from Seton Hall, and a great finish from Hines.
And in 2 minutes of game action, it's 3 personal fouls on Ian Jackson.
And at this point, you might as well leave Ian Jackson out there. You got to try to get something out of him. Because foul trouble has a way of just completely crushing your rhythm and flow.
Jai Hines coming off a suspected sprained ankle, limited in practice. Big basket there, and the three-point play to draw them within 4. That looked like a travel, none called. Takeaway for Seton Hall off the miss from Prey.
Got a shoe in the middle of the floor. Ruben Prey's left shoe just sitting right at that foul line.
That's Parker. Parker to the rack. A 7-0 run for Seton Hall, and they're right back in it. Timeout, Rick Pitino.
Well, you figured Zuby Ejiofor's foul trouble would ultimately be an issue. You can hold down the fort for only so long. And then all of a sudden, the Hall starting to settle into this game. Trey Parker, excellent physical drive. We got a game here at The Rock.
A champion will be crowned.
The Big East Tournament, March 12th through the 14th on Fox and FS1.
2-point game. Seton Hall roaring back. Speaking of roar, this has been a fun game. Back and forth we go. Seton Hall, so many close calls against the top of the conference this year. Couple of squandered opportunities against UConn. That game where they led in the second half against St. John's earlier this year, and they have an opportunity in front of themselves once again. A 2-point game. Scramble out of the inbound. Picked off. Dar draws a foul. And St. John's all out of sorts.
And Ian Jackson all out of sorts because of those foul trouble issues. He just runs right into that corner. Gets trapped, has to throw it up, and now 3 personal fouls on Ruben Prey. So foul trouble really mounting. It's an easy call for the officials. And because Ejiofor's foul trouble, Seton Hall is winning the rebounding battle, and they're winning the paint battle at this point. So we'll see how much longer Rick Pitino wants to go with holding Ejiofor out. I mean, Ejiofor knows one speed, and that's full speed. And he crashes the glass so he can get in a lot of foul situations.
The Hall within one as Ejiofor continues to sit.
Good pressure release from Ruben Prey. Your five-man can be a good option when breaking a press.
Got a call here as Darling tried to cut around Simpkins, and they'll call the foul on Clark. Second for him. Regular season title hangs in the balance for St. John. One seed of the Big East tournament. Darling up the curl, goes off the window and scores.
Got up to such a hot start to Darling. He's been quiet after that, but that's a nice downhill drive from Dylan Darling. Got to continue. Sorry, Alex. You got to continue to attack the paint right now. Without Ejiofor on the floor, you got to live in the lane if you're the Pirates.
Well, the Pirates actually outscoring St. John's in the paint by 2. Simpkins enters. Hines goes up strong, and Hopkins fouled him.
That backside help just not quite good enough multiple times with Hines. And Dylan Darling able to turn the corner. You got shooters toeing the arc, holding up that help. Really tough finish from Dylan Darling.
Now it's Hines, one of the best high school prospects Seton Hall has ever signed. They're hoping he projects as an Angel Delgado type player. If they get something like that, they're in good shape.
Yes, they are. Delgado was a warrior in the rebounding department, and Hines is got a bright future though. Local product, fans really love him here. You have a tendency to forget he's a freshman because he's so big and physical.
6'10", 265.
That's twice now the bigs have been pressure releases, breaking that press. That's smart. And Rick Pitino typically presses a lot, so he knows what can break a press.
Prey turned it over. Simpkins jumped the passing lane. Hines unable to reel it in transition, and then a collision with Hopkins hitting the deck.
And that's just Simpkins has to understand his personnel. Throwing the ball into Jai Hines at 20 feet from the hoop, where Hines was ready to go get in position for a lob or a catch and a finish. If you're Simpkins, you're the guard. You got to continue to dribble the ball up the floor and let your big fella get in scoring position.
And the 8th turnover for Seton Hall. All the foul there on Simpkins in that collision. Clark will back off as Darling brings it up court. Gonna have to be some of the unsung guys as Darling nearly turned it over. Prey was stripped. Darling kicked it back out to Seton off the mark from 3. Prey a rebound. Darling shot fake. The drive. The layup. Counted and a foul. Is it church bells time for Dylan Darling? Ringing the bell with the and one to extend the lead back to 3.
It might be church bells time, but another winning play from Ruben Prey. Gets the offensive rebound, kick out. Ring the bell, Dylan Darling.
Three-point lead for St. John's. Seton Hall hanging tough, but a couple of missed opportunities. Let's go inside the Pirates huddle.
Why nobody rebounding? Why we ain't getting over screen? Why you going for shot fakes?
Why? You don't have to question where you stand in Shaheen Holloway's book. He's going to let you know exactly how he feels at all times, and in the huddle, there's got to be complete transparency and honesty, and it's got to be a message that's easy to digest. And certainly in that regard, Shaheen Holloway is a terrific communicator. And Seton Hall's checked a lot of the boxes they've needed to. They're actually out rebounding St. John's. They're even in the paint. This guy right here has played a great game. Ruben Prey has held down the fort with Zuby Ejiofor in foul trouble. All things considered, Seton Hall's right there. This is always so hard. You and I were talking to the break. Do you bring back Zuby Ejiofor? When do you bring him back? You're winning right now. You try and steal another couple of minutes. Ruben Prey is playing well.
Seton McCray inside, went back to the left, and so go back to St. John's. Another empty possession for Seton Hall. And that's where the fine margins live right now, is those missed opportunities, and for St. John's coming up with defensive stops when their best player is on the bench.
Trying to get the iPad replay pulled up, see if they're going to challenge it. Not going to do it.
Inbound to Hopkins.
Gotta be real careful. Bud Clark loves to back tap, so when you're dribbling with a full head of steam, you got to have your head on a swivel once you break that press.
Sandin taking his time as Darling goes to work, and Clark backpedaling will be called for a foul. That's his third.
Just ripping and going into the body of the defense. 3 personal fouls on Bud Clark now. Key guys both ways in foul trouble.
Just feels like Seton Hall's season in a nutshell, right? Close, but not yet there. A year where they've been kind of hovering around the bubble. Hopkins goes up and scores. 5-point game. This is the last big opportunity they have, Seton Hall, to try to make a case.
They're playing for their NCAA tournament lives. I don't know how else to put it. Their opportunities are running out. St. John's is playing for a share of the Big East regular season title, which, as Rick Pitino put it, is the more coveted of the conference championships, because it's about your body of work. And so better believe Coach Pitino understands how important this game is.
Seton McCray off the mark from 3. Seton Hall has struggled in that department all year, and they're 0 for 7 tonight.
Darling almost drugged that pivot foot.
Salmon to the rack. No. He thought some contact was coming. Left the layup short. And then gets hit in the face.
Just hit on the temple right there from Stephon Payne.
Just a bit of a late whistle and all that.
It is. It was so late, I thought in real time it was on the offensive rebound.
Yeah, same. Sandin misfires at the line. Empty trip. Still a 5-point game. And a foul is called here. I'm going to just double check on it. Might be throwing a fan out of the game here too. They've glanced over in this direction.
You're getting all the calls. Stop complaining.
All right, everything's sorted out.
Emotions getting high.
Yep.
Here on a Friday night at the Rock.
Well, you get a sense of how much this game means for Seton Hall fans. Tough year last year, just 7 wins. Program record 25 losses. But back to form this year. Just on the wrong side of the bubble. Seton McCray off the side of the backboard. The loose change falls right to Stephon Payne.
Another second chance point for the Hall. And right now, Zuby Ejiofor is strolling to the scores table. He's going to check in at the next whistle.
Ruben Prey has done his part.
No doubt about that.
Turned over. Darling throws it away. Seton McCray with numbers. Gets around Shannon and scores. It's back to a one-point game, and Rick Pitino calls timeout.
Well, they're Hall are a defensive-led team. First, Seton McCray with the little scoop shot. Payne's able to clean it up. And then a great weak side read for the pick six turnover as Seton McCray able to step through and finish. It's not been a great shooting day, just 3 of 13. But you gotta use your defense to fuel your offense if you're Seton Hall. And now Zuby Ejiofor is back into this game. Keep in mind, he picked up his second personal foul at the 4:55 mark of the first half. Played just a couple of minutes to start this second half and picked up his third foul. So what kind of a rhythm is Zuby Ejiofor in? Can he play loose and free with that same reckless abandon that he plays with that incredible motor, understanding the foul situation? We'll see if he can assert himself right away.
Well, he's been a leader in so many ways for this St. John's team, both with his play and vocally in every huddle.
Well, Alex, you figured everything that was at stake for Seton Hall. The Pirates were going to really fight tonight, and they're really battling.
Ejiofor right into the battle. Left it off the front of the rim. Rebound to Parker. Seton Hall with a chance to take the lead. They have not led this half.
Trying to free up Seton McCray. Darling did a terrific job chasing McCray.
Payne with nowhere to go. Shot clock under 4. Parker change of direction. Tough take.
That's a great defensive sequence from the Red Storm.
And now Hopkins bowls over Seton McCray to score. Bully ball from Bryce Hopkins. And the lead back to 3.
One of the most terrifying sights in the Big East is Hopkins with a head of steam in the open floor coming at you.
He's on double-double watch. Darling diving for this loose ball. He'll get called for the foul. But a tough trip for Parker. Unable to get across the timing line. That's the 3rd foul on Darling.
Dylan Darling has had a nice 2 defensive possession sequence. They were really trying to free up A.J. Seton McCray. Chased him off a bunch of screens on the previous possession and gets into the ball with Trey Parker. This was close. Poked it free. 2 guys diving. It's a tough call.
Puts Seton Hall in the bonus. Both teams, in fact, are in the bonus with 8:25 to go. Trey Parker, sophomore transfer from NC State. Too strong on the free throw. Offensive rebound, Williams.
Keep in mind, Bud Clark is in foul trouble. He's sitting right now. He's their best playmaker.
We've been showing you with the whistles. Both teams are in foul trouble.
Yes.
Seton McCray, deep 3, no. Skying in for the board is Mitchell.
Still 0 for 8 from the 3 are the Pirates.
A pass that goes awry, too tall for Ejiofor.
Boy, right idea. Ejiofor always early post-ups are such a big part of his game. He got ahead of the pack, started sealing Mitchell. Just too much mustard on that entry.
Rare turnover. He leads the Big East in assist to turnover ratio. Fourth turnover of the half for St. John's. Williams tried to thread the needle.
Dylan Darling once again coming up big. He's in that gap, pokes the ball free.
Sellers got room, knocks it down. He could be a streaky shooter, but Sellers has his second triple of the night.
The three-point line looming large in this second half for the Johnnies. 4 for 6 from beyond the arc. Lots at stake here on a Friday night in the Big East. Back and forth we go. Rick Pitino, Shaheen Holloway, Zuby Ejiofor. Got a good finish brewing here in Newark.
St. John's up by 6. Seton Hall, another scoring drought. Let's go inside the Red Storm huddle.
Don't be afraid. Play to win. Attack the glass. You're jogging back with your man, and we're trying to get up and pressure the basketball. You got to see it.
We're doing a great job in the transition, but the biggest thing right now with 7 minutes left is the rebounds. They cannot get second shots.
That's pretty remarkable stuff, and it gives you an idea of two things. Rick Pitino has used that line over and over this year to not be afraid in key moments. And Zuby Ejiofor, dating back to late last year, has been the next voice heard in that huddle so many times.
So powerful when your best player and your leader is vocal in a big huddle. And it's also freeing when your coach is telling you to be aggressive and play to win.
Simpkins can't get the roll. Offensive rebound and then a foul on Hines. Third foul on the Pirates' big man.
The Johnnies will go shoot free throws now.
Shaheen Holloway perplexed.
But I love to go back to that huddle for a second. When you got a lead, some coaches focus on what not to do. And Rick Pitino's won so many games. He understands in these spots you cannot get on your heels. There's a lot of game left. Yes, you have a lead, but you have to stay aggressive and keep on playing to win. There's a big difference between playing to win and playing not to lose. I think it's the right move to get Bud Clark back on the floor, too, with 3 personal fouls. You're against the ropes. You got to have your top dog out there.
It's Fisher. Four-point game. Ejiofor. Such a difference when he's been on the floor for St. John's. Entry pass, Ejiofor, what a catch, what a finish.
Oh. One hand, ripping Hines, outstretched arms away, catching it, turning and finishing. Just unbelievable strength and athleticism from Zuby Ejiofor.
You hear those faint cheers from Zub, back by the St. John's bench and their fans who have crossed the river. 6-point game. Seton Hall needs a basket. Won't get one there. Hopkins with under 6 minutes to play. Leaves it for Ejiofor. Off the shot fake, the step through, and the lay-in. Ejiofor with the runner. And St. John's stretches the lead.
It is Zuby time here inside the Prudential Center. Making every play for his group. It's amazing because he's sat for a long stretch in foul trouble. But when effort reigns supreme, you always find a way to get into a rhythm quickly.
17 points in 18 minutes for the St. John's captain. Stain McCray, no.
Boy, Shaheen Holloway just hands on the knees, can't believe it. Point blank layup, can't get it to go down.
Huge next couple moments here until the under 4. St. John's smelling blood in the water. Up by 8. Ejiofor kicks. Sellers off the mark. Mitchell to tap. And Fisher able to pull that down with one hand. Clark, haven't called his name in a while, as he's part of that group in foul trouble.
Can someone at some point for the Hall make a 3? Still 0 for 8 for the game.
Simpkins goes to work inside instead. Misfires, tries to track down his own miss. Instead, it's Sellers with the rebound. St. John's letting it breathe. The 1 seed and a Big East regular season title in sight. The kick to Sellers. Got it from 3. That's a big one. Largest lead for St. John's and a 12-2 run.
Plus 21 points from the three-point line for the Red Storm.
They can taste it now. Under 4 minutes from going back-to-back. Ejiofor putting the team on his back once again. And Oziah Sellers from the three-point line. It's an 11-point lead for the Johnnies.
New York City, world's most famous arena, Madison Square Garden. Madison Square Garden. Madison Square Garden, the home of the Big East tournament.
You guys have a chance to be part of the greatness.
Are you telling me there's no magic in this house tonight?
The best basketball conference in the country, bar none. That's why we came here.
Fourth-ranked UConn takes on Marquette. Saturday at 12:30 Eastern on Fox College Hoops.
Another huddle. Another chance for Zuby Ejiofor to lead his team. 17 points to lead the way tonight for St. John's.
There's a championship at stake, and Zuby Ejiofor, even though he's been in foul trouble, has really put his fingerprints on this thing when he's been out there. He's been efficient. He's ran the floor hard and gotten easy baskets in the open floor. 17 points, 7 of 11 from the floor. Just another day at the office for Ejiofor.
And this is important for St. John's. You look at where Mike DeCourcy has them right now as a 5 seed. You may look at it and say, well, okay, regular season, 1 seed, 2 seed, does it really matter in the grand scheme of things? Well, if you have an easier path to a Big East tournament championship, that might bump you up to about a 4 seed. You never know. And that could improve your matchup in the first round. Instead of facing an at-large team, right? Clark backs it out. Seton Hall running out of time. The deficit is 11. And Clark with a much-needed basket.
To turn up the heat here with this pressure. And so if you're St. John's, you got to understand that. Everybody's got to be a ball handler. You got to meet the pass. But like Coach Pitino said in the huddle a couple of minutes ago, you got to still be aggressive. You can't get on your heels because that's when that pressure can eat you up.
Darling to Ejiofor. 6 to shoot. Darling around the Ejiofor pick. And it's popped away by Simpkins. Pirates down by 9. Clark, the lone Seton Hall player in double figures with 10. And Clark will draw a foul. He'll shoot free throws.
It's just so hard when Clark, he gets so low when he's driving. Even when you're sliding your feet, it's hard. It just wouldn't be denied. Goes right into the chest of Sellers and able to draw a foul. And that's important now. You got to knock down your free throws, but it gives you a chance to set your press.
Big free throws for Bud Clark.
Keep in mind, Seton Hall has had miraculous come-from-behind wins. And Marquette, big deficit down the stretch, erased it, came back. You can draw upon those experiences for confidence in these spots, albeit it's St. John's on the other end, but been in this spot before and you found a way.
They've had 11 wins this season when trailing at any point in a second half. 2:52 to go. Clark splits the pair. Full court pressure here from Seton Hall. St. John's effectively able to break it.
Bigs have been such good pressure releases, whether it's been Prey or Hopkins or Mitchell or Ejiofor.
Reach-in foul here on Parker. Free throws now for the Red Storm.
Offense, defense. Parker in there for the press. Bud Clark back in now.
St. John's has missed their last 5 free throws and 1 for 6 this half. Darling at the stripe here. And he hits the front end of the 1-and-1.
Pretty good day for Darling, in my opinion. He really set the tone early. He's got 5 assists, 8 points. Done a good job guarding Bud Clark. We weren't sure, hey, is this guy from Idaho State who was playing in the Big Skies, he could be tough enough for the Big East? I think the answer is pretty evident. He absolutely is.
He has relished the spotlight.
Oh, wow.
2.5 to go, Ejiofor. Add another to the stat sheet.
That's what's called an emergency switch. Darling was trying to fight over it. Ejiofor knew Darling wasn't going to be able to get there. Not only is he able to contest, he blocks it right into the bench.
Clark able to score through the contact. Lead down to 8. Darling and Clark colliding.
Those two have been going at it the whole game.
Oh, Darling slipped. Lost his shoe.
There's been a wet spot on the floor.
Timeout is called by Rick Pitino. That's his last one. 2:05 to go. What happened here?
I slipped because it was his sock that shoe pops off, and so that sock's got no traction.
Yep.
Slips and falls. Got the shoe back on now.
Wheels reattached. 8-point game.
Big though, like you said, no timeouts left, so can't be a situation where if you get into trouble, you could call a timeout if you're trapped. You got to find a way to handle the basketball now. Rick Pitino, I think, felt like it was kind of a scrambled situation after Darling fell down and lost his shoe.
A lot of questions about this St. John's team in that 32-point loss to UConn. Then they bounced back against Villanova, and they've done such good work in the paint, especially here tonight without Zuby Ejiofor for long stretches.
Ruben Prey was tremendous when Ejiofor went to the bench with foul trouble, but Bryce Hopkins played physical as he usually does. Darling's had a tremendous game, and when Zuby Ejiofor has been out there, he's been incredibly productive. But that guy, Ruben Prey, is the unsung hero of the game. Very valuable minutes when that guy was in foul trouble.
And they finish it off. 40 years since St. John's has won back-to-back Big East titles. Darling picked up his dribble, tough area. Hopkins made himself available. Hopkins off the kick, 5 to shoot. Sellers way off. Long rebound. Mitchell tracks it down. And then he throws it away. Clark is fouled. Darling got a piece of him extending his leg. But it stops the clock in all of that, too.
Yeah, unfortunate. Great hustle from Mitchell. Rick Pitino said, throw it back towards the St. John's basket, not towards Seton Hall. Watch, Mitchell comes from all the way to from the opposite side, saves it. Just victim of tough circumstances. Bud Clark high points it, contact, now free throws.
4th foul for Darling. Free throws have been missed by both teams. Seton Hall with 7 misses. Clark knocks down the front end of a 1-and-1. Bud Clark leading the Pirates with 14. Hits a move. Down to 6.
Once again, the bigs really helping out and breaking that pressure.
Hopkins, what a wonderful job.
Just so important. Hines isn't going to be as powerful and disruptive pressuring the ball, so Ejiofor can step out. He can grab it and get into offense.
Biggest defensive possession of the year for Seton Hall right here. Mitchell at the rim. He's met from behind. Ejiofor, second effort, and he puts it in.
Classic Zuby Ejiofor.
19 for Ejiofor. Clark threads the needle. Hines puts it in to answer. 66-60 as we approach the final minute. Hopkins thought about taking his time. Instead drives. Did he take steps? He did. I thought he was going to back it out initially, and then he decided to drive downhill, wound up turning it over.
There's a time to play aggressive, and there's a time to play the clock. I think that was a time to play the clock. Hopkins tries to make something happen and slides his feet. Turnover.
Pirates not out of it yet.
And Seton Hall still yet to hit a three. Crackback coming back for Seton McCray. Here it is.
They'll launch. And he's got it! Their first make of the night in the final minute. It's down to a three-point game.
And no timeouts for St. John's, so you got a problem solve on the floor.
Crowd on its feet. Regular season title hanging in the balance for St. John's. Ejiofor fouled. Hines picks up his fourth.
Love it. In crunch time, you go to your star, and this is Ejiofor's versatility. He can drive it from the top of the key. Let's take another look. Oh, man, that's close, given all the contact and how physical that game has been. That is a tough call in a big spot on Najai Hines, but you still love the decision and attack from Zuby Ejiofor.
Ejiofor trying to make this a two-possession game. 70% on the season. And a high arcing free throw. He's 4 of 5 tonight from the foul line. Two-possession game, 27 seconds to go. Ejiofor hits the second.
Clutch.
Quick up court to Simpkins. Simpkins the runner. No, Hines the tip. And it's back down to a three-point game. Full court pressure from Seton Hall. No timeouts for St. John's. They get it into Ejiofor. He'll lead it ahead. Mitchell to the rack. And is that the crowning moment for St. John's? 14.6 to go. Clark to bring it up. Seton McCray, no. Left it short. Hines is fouled by Ejiofor. And Ejiofor picks up his fourth, but he is our smoking player of the game, sponsored by Old Trapper. What's your beef? 3 blocks for Ejiofor, 21 points in 23 minutes.
You took the words out of my mouth. In 23 minutes, he's been in foul trouble. When he's been on the floor, he has been incredibly productive. And one of the themes of this second half has been the bigs for St. John's helping out in handling full court pressure. You saw that on display, able to kick it ahead, big to big, and Mitchell is able to get the run out.
Hines misses them both. Rebound for Sellers. And he's fouled by Seton McCray.
Well, you figured St. John's would go down, or excuse me, Seton Hall would go down swinging. And that's exactly what happened. Gave everything they could, emptied the tank against the Red Storm, but St. John's has really been clutch from a bunch of different people. Prey, Darling, Sannon, Hopkins, and Mitchell. And of course, the star, Ejiofor. Total team effort, and that's what it takes to win a Big East crown.
Darling checks out. It's a nice hand. Sellers extends the lead to 7. It's a St. John's sequel. For the first time in 40 years, the St. John's Red Storm have won back-to-back Big East regular season titles. They clinched the 1 seed of the Big East tournament next week off another outstanding performance from Zubi Ejiofor. Here's the updated bracket. If the season were to end today, DePaul still has an opportunity to get a first round bye. They play Butler tomorrow, noon Eastern on FS1. UConn can still earn a piece of a Big East regular season title. They play Marquette 8 p.m. tomorrow on Fox. What a game here in Newark. Our final score, St. John's 72, Seton Hall 65. For Nick Baugh and our entire Fox Sports crew, this is Alex Faust. You've been watching FS1 College Hoops. Have a good night, everyone.